Hey, how's everybody doing today? So, I decided to bring it back to the basics. You know, we're getting a lot of material. As you go back in all these different videos, you have different punch techniques, you have different sparring techniques, you have your kempos, with someone punching in, you have your grappling moves, you see your grappling moves with someone, your different blocking systems. So today I'm going to go back and do the basics, the terminology, where they come from, so you can apply them and how to strike more effectively. I know it sounds boring. I promise you it's not. It'll give you a different way to think how your body processes the dynamics of a punch. So we're going to start simple with how to tie your belt. Now normally we would kneel down and tie the belt. Unfortunately, your instructor's had 7 knee operations and his knee doesn't bend that way anymore. So we're just going to do it in a stand-up position. The easiest way for me to explain it is put your belt out wide, even it out. Start on the middle of your waist, go behind your back, and switch hands. Let your right hand bring it underneath. Your left hand comes around with the belt on top. So right is underneath, left is on top. Left goes over and under both, and you pull it tight. The reason that happens is so if the belt comes untied, it's still held here. Then you take the right hand and go over and under the left, and voila, that's your belt. It's that simple. I'll do it one more time real quick. If you don't have your belt, you had a chance to grab it. Start in the front, to the waist, switch your hands behind your back, bringing your right hand underneath. So guys, that's this side. Your left hand comes around, that's this side. Obviously we're a mirror image. And you're gonna go over and under both. Pull it tight. And you might have to adjust it, equal it out. Once you have them both and they're pretty even, you take your right hand and go over and under. Now, basics, let's talk about a rank system. So there's different philosophies for the belts and where they came from. One of the ones that's kind of more storytelling is when the monks in the Shaolin Temple would show up. They were given a robe. It was a white robe. It was brand new, and the belt was white. And when an outsider would come in and wanted to train from one of the monks, he would see a monk in a brand new uniform, and he would see another person in an old dungy uniform, strings like my belt is. And this isn't even my original black belt. I'll bring it in one day to show you. So the process was that the low monks had to cook and clean. They all had to cook and clean, but the lower bottom pole of the monks had to do the cleaning and cooking, and they're like from the flour and the yeast and baking that their robes and their belts would start to turn a little yellow. The next is, imagine if you had a new pair of sneakers and you cut the grass. Almost all my stories come back to cutting the grass. I really don't like, there's 2 things I'm not crazy about, is cutting the grass and taking the garbage out. Well, if you cut the grass with those new sneakers, that white sole is going to turn a little bit like a lime green, a light green. And if you keep cutting the grass with those sneakers, it's going to turn into a darker green. Until eventually, those sneakers are going to be brown and disgusting. Well, that's kind of how the belt system, as they cleaned and cooked and got older, the belts got dirty. There's another made-up story that when the fabric would tear, that's where the stripes came from. Basically, it was showing a process, a progression as you were going through the system. How I equate the belts is all of our students go to school and you have marking periods. Regardless of who you are, how well you did, if you were in the middle, you all have a progress report at the end of that marking period. For the adults listening, we all graduated high school. Doesn't mean we all graduated at the same height. Some of us are better in math, some of us are better in spelling. That's not me. Terrible at spelling. Sometimes I will type in a word and spell check looks at me and says, we don't even know what you're trying to say. So we all have different abilities. Every quarter, it shows you a progress. That's what the belt system is. Now, the second thing, and I remember hearing this from the outside world that, you know, those belts don't mean anything. And I've always felt sorry for those people because they don't understand what went into earning that belt. Whether it's a yellow belt, whether it's a black belt, whether it's from a different system, that's your sweat, your time. You don't go up to a professor and say his doctorate doesn't matter because it's in something you don't know about. So respecting what you did to earn that belt, you should always have pride in it. I know that I constantly walk my talk. I'm training all the time. As a matter of fact, this whole coronavirus quarantine has given me one of the best gifts I've had in 50 some years. I've been training with my brother every day for the last 7 weeks. I don't think we spent that much time together in 50 years, 40 years, but every day training, we've been pushing each other. Now the progress might not be that big. If it's only this much and you go over amount of time, it becomes a lot more progress. Now, enough on the belt system. The next is why they call punches a front two knuckle, a back two knuckle. When you close your hand, you take your thumb and you come around to the outside and apply pressure on these two knuckles. And the purpose for that is those are the two knuckles you want to hit with because they're reinforced. When people throw punches, hook punches, the pressure falls to the pinky and there's nothing supporting that, and that's when they break their hand. It's called boxer's break. I've done it twice. It's not fun. So learning how to hit with those two knuckles is very important. Boxers wear gloves. The gloves are not for the opponent. The gloves are for the boxer themselves so they don't break their hands. And a lot of times they do break their hands. So those two knuckles go in front. That's a front two knuckle. Same thing with a back two knuckle. Same thing with a thrust punch. You're supposed to try to hit with those two knuckles. Now your sword hands and your spear pokes and your tiger claws are different type of strikes, and they take different types of developing toughness. Again, I'll go back to the Shaolin monks. They had a lot of time on their hands. They did a lot of crazy things. They would poke their hands into sand, into pebbles to toughen up their hands. I don't do that. I think the softest thing I'm ever going to have to hit is a human body, so I'm not going to start poking my fingers into hot coals, but that's what they did. I'm not recommending it. It's not a good idea. Arthritis, it hurts as we get older. Now, let's go into the punch itself. So, would we agree that you throw a punch like that, it would have a lot of power? Absolutely. You're winding up your body, you're throwing with all your body weight. But if I said, when you see me punch, move out of the way, and you saw this, you're all going to move out of the way before the punch gets there. So that's where the straight line punch comes. How to make it faster and how to make it harder, there's a couple different theories. So the first one I'm going to talk about is elbows out versus elbows in. So if I gave you these two weights and I had two different people and I said, okay, somebody hold them here and somebody hold them here. Which one do you think is going to hold them longer? You got it, right here. Because when your elbows are in close to your body, you're strong. Pushing, pulling, punching. Again, yes, you will get power this way, but it takes too long. You want to work that straight punch. So, first thing, elbows in. We don't punch from a horse stance and go like this with my elbow. It's like a corkscrew. You want it to rub right against your body and do that punch straight out. Now, how to make that punch have speed and power. Okay, we're losing a little bit of Wi-Fi today. So, here's the skill set. Tighten up all your muscles. Squeeze your arm as hard as you can. Squeeze those muscles, and when I say go, punch. Squeeze them, squeeze them, squeeze them, punch. Now, relax your muscles. Keep the arm relaxed, like it's just hanging there. And when I say go, punch. Just keep it relaxed, keep it relaxed. Go. Which one was faster? The second one. And ironically, even though you're squeezing all your muscles, which one has more power? The second one. Because when we're relaxed, we punch. If we're fighting like this, two things happen. Our energy level goes down because we're squeezing that static electric all through our muscles. We're squeezing those muscles. And when we try to punch, we don't flow, we don't have that same snap. So by relaxing the muscles, keeping the arms in, we can get that snap. Now let me give you another visual. This is a shirt. I wish I had a towel, but I don't. If I took this shirt and went and hit you, it wouldn't bother you at all. If I just tossed this at you, it would just bounce off your body. You're like saying, well, that's relaxed. Is that what you just said? Yes. But the punch is relaxed, 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 right till it hits. And when it hits, you snap everything into it. So what that is more likely is when you were a kid, we used to wind up the towels and snap. Now, if I did that, it would hurt a lot. Okay, so equate that to your punch. As this is going out, it's relaxed, 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 relaxed. Right to the end, we pull it back, snap, and then there's your punch. So that's a way to improve your speed and your power. Not your accuracy, but your speed and your power and how hard you can hit in a short distance by keeping that body relaxed, keeping it relaxed, and snap it out, and then relaxed again. If you keep fighting tense or you keep working out tense, your energy level drops. So when you're punching today, back, elbow position, horse stance, no one's ever going to jump in this stance. This is where we train from. And you throw your front two knuckle. Elbow in, relax, 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 snap, and relaxed. And try to have that little snap at the end. Think of your body as that wet towel. So that's the basics of throwing a punch. What are we focusing on? Hitting with the front two knuckle. I know it's a little boring, but if you deviate from that and you punch wide, or if you ever do this, no bueno, thumb never goes inside. You guys always hear me say it. Fingers closed, thumbs on the outside. Some people like to put their thumbs here and push them together. I don't find it as effective. Underneath is what supports the knuckles. And you also need to keep your wrist lined with your knuckles, because if you hit like this or this, you're going to break your wrist or hurt your wrist. So line it up, straight, punch. Relax, sword hand. Relax, 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 chop. Relaxed, chop. Try to have that snap at the end. Okay, let's go to kicks. We've all played kickball, right? Kick the ball, it goes flying. Well, if we want power in our kick, it has to come up into a crane. And what the crane does is it gives the same thing as the towel. Ready? Here's the kick, straight leg. Listen. Here's the kick when the knee comes up. The higher the knee comes up, the more snap you're going to have on the kick. Whatever kick it is, the knee comes up, snap it out. So that's your basics on how to throw a kick. Same thing for your back kick. Comes up, up, back kick, and down. You can kick from the ground, but in the beginning, practice all your kicks from this position. Your reverse crescent, your crescent, your side kick, your roundhouse, your hook kick. All of them bringing that knee up. Knee up, power, knee down, not so much. Knee down, you see it coming. Then you have the process of front leg and rear leg. Exactly what it sounds like. Leg in the front, leg in the back. You're never going to have the same amount of power off your lead leg as you are off your back leg. But you see this coming, no matter how quick. I don't care if you're Bruce Lee. If you kick off your back leg, they see your body come. If you throw a cross, they see your body. Lead is your jab. That's not going to send them home. It's not going to knock them out, but it's going to occupy them for the next punch. That's what your lead leg's for. The next part of that basic of throwing a kick is to really focus on your body movement. And this is what I mean. Tell me when I'm going to throw a kick. Now tell me when I'm going to throw a kick. So when you can keep your body not moving at all and not telegraphing the kick. For example, I'm going to do a roundhouse kick. Well, you guys see me winding up. But if I can stay in here and throw the kick from the ground or a hook or a front and try to make them look all the same, I can disguise the kick. So, doing your basics. Keep relaxed. Work on getting the snap. Work on breathing in between. Now, the ki-ai. It's not so we sound crazy. It's got three purposes. One, it brings power to your punch. So everybody just punch right now. And now punch with the ki-ai. That second one gives you more power. The second purpose, put your hand on your abs. If you were to get hit, is to squeeze and protect your organs and let the air out. Have you ever heard they got the wind knocked out of them? Well, if you're not ready and you get hit with a punch, and then you can't breathe. But by doing that ki-ai, you let the air out and tighten the abs. And the third is to startle your opponent. I don't know, maybe, maybe not. Start screaming around, they think you're crazy, they won't attack you. But if they attack you, your karate training is going to come in handy. So, just to recoup real quick, I want you to go back, practice your punches, don't let your elbows come out, keep them in, and corkscrew those punches. A couple days ago I was talking about box. Well, do that same thing with your box. No punches come outside of it except when you're going to do the wide ones. We don't start with a chop. A chop might be an end strike. Same thing with the kicks. Start out of your horse stance, throw the kick. Then start out of your sparring stance, throw the kick. Then go to your lead leg, throw the kick. And rotate your kicks in and out. It's a great way to go back and do your basics. After you've done them all here, you guessed it, the next stage is moving. Now, why is that important? Well, if you're moving to strike somebody, or to defend yourself more likely, you have to learn how to drop your body weight. Here's the next theory. Most of you probably don't know this because you all have digital scales now. And I hate saying the word in the old days, but we used to step on a scale. Let's just say hypothetically we all weighed 100 pounds. When we would step on that scale, the pendulum would go to 200 because all the weight came down. Then it would go to 50, 125, 75, and then it would teeter right to the 100 pounds. The theory behind that is to not have, if you could see my feet, is to never punch with your toes in the air. If I punch it up in the air, look at this body weight that could have dropped. So now we take the front two knuckle, the relaxed arm, the elbow in, and drop that body weight all at the same time. If that ends up leaving you like this, that's okay. That's a lot to process at once. And you won't be able to think about all of them at the same time. But I promise you, if you do the basics, one day you'll be doing your kick, and let's just say you've been lazy bringing that knee up. And then you start thinking of the knee, and then you're going to feel the snap, and it's going to click. You're going to do your punch, and you realize, oh, my elbow's coming out. You're going to keep it in. And as you keep it in, you're going to have that snap. And then you're going to take it moving across the room. Step forward, snap. Hit, relax. Step forward, snap, breathe out, and relax. Those are your basics. Same thing with the blocks. We don't blocks. Snap, quick blocks. This is just to develop the muscles. In reality, we're going to be blocking here. We're not going to jump into this stance. It's just the training aspect. So go back into your punches, your kicks, your blocks, and put that application. Relax the body, keep the elbows in, bring the knee up high, exhale, tighten the abs up, and have fun with it because you're going to mess up a lot. That's why they're called basics. And when you can master the basics, everything else is simple. Once you know what 1 + 1 is and you can do it, then we move on to what 1 + 2 is. I hope that makes sense to you guys. You're doing great. Keep up the good work. The weather's starting to change. I'm hoping for great things. James Brown, good to see you, buddy. You hang in there. I'll see you guys soon. Tell Anthony and Hannah I said hi. You guys have a great day.